Hello there, this is Jesse Coffee, and now for the next part of my Warner home media collection. We'll continue with The Mighty Wind from the director of Best in Show Waiting for Government, two movies I hope to see sometime, and like this, they were made by Christopher Guest, the great Christopher Guest. This is a great film. It's got a lot of great things about it. Great music, great comedy, and general warm-heartedness and approach. Here's the tape itself. It's a Castle Rock film. Now, oddly enough, this doesn't have a soundtrack promo on it, and you'd think it would, because this film has a great soundtrack. You've never heard it. If you've never heard it, go ahead and give it a listen. Print day on here is August 27th, 2003, and this was released on September 23rd, 2003. Now, there's a great closing scene at the end of the film that I want to point to, in which I saw when I watched the film on Cinemax via Prime Video. It's the scene where one of the folksmen, this guy right here, comes out as a trans woman. And the scene handles that very respectfully and very intelligently. And I thoroughly respect the film for that. And especially in relation to Warner Brothers, that scene works very well to counter the transphobic propaganda spewed on the regular by J.K. Rowling these days. And here's the original DVD of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This has marked a special edition. And from 2003, so it coincided with the sequel to Christmas Vacation that was first broadcast on NBC in the same year. It was Christmas Vacation 2, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure, which was not very well liked at all. And the fact that no one liked it, I think, broke Randy Quaid's brain. And made him into what he is today, which is a far more deranged and far less likable and far less lovable version of Cousin Eddie. I want the old Randy Quaid back. Make the scene index. Alright, here's Chasing Liberty with Mandy Moore and Matthew Good. Released May 4th, 2004. And the Ruins are, of course, the backing band that Jimmy Fallon uses on his Tonight Show. And this, I think, was one of the last snapper case Warner DVDs. They went to doing keep cases a few months after this release. It's also the most recent snapper case Warner DVD that I have. Alright, here we have the 2-disc special edition of Once Upon a Time in America. This was released on June 10th, 2003 on DVD. And this, of course, is the European cut. This was originally, when this first came out in America, the DVD, when this first came out in America, it was heavily edited by Warner Brothers, the studio, and trimmed to a 139-minute version. It also rearranged many of the sequences without the consultation of the director. And that version got blasted by the critics, and only saw one video release, and most of the video releases have been of this European version, which runs 229 minutes, and was far more widely acclaimed than the American cut, and also more popular. This one was made by Sergio Leone. In the fall now, we see the scene index for each part. Here's disc 1, and here's disc 2. This one is a nice, lavish set. That's Once Upon a Time in America. And here's Matrix Revolutions. I don't have the Matrix Reloaded, and I haven't seen the 2021 Matrix film yet, but I have to make a point of it after watching the first 3. This was released on VHS and DVD on April 6, 2004. And written and directed by the Wachowski sisters. Again. Here's the tape. And this was formerly from Uptown Music and Video in Rocky Ford, Colorado. And the print date on here is March 11th, 2004. Alright, next we have the complete second season of The West Wing. This is a great series, as I said earlier. Very groundbreaking for its time. It was the first series of its kind that was offered on primetime television here in the States. Here are your 4 discs. Once again, they're double-sided, so I have to be really, really careful in handling them. There's the booklet. And there are the proof of purchase tabs in there. Now we're going to go back on the case. And I'll show you the 3rd season of The West Wing. Here it is. Here are your 4 discs again. All double-sided. And there's the 3rd season booklet. Very good episodes on here. I actually have a few of the episodes. I also have a number of off-air recordings of this series, some of which I did commercial breaks, extracts from. And there it is on there. Put this back in. That's the 3rd season of The West Wing. I hope to get the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and I think there was a... Oh. I have to get the remaining 4 seasons of the show on DVD. I think there were 4. I'll have to look it up again. Right from 1999 to 2006. So there were 4, okay. There were 4 more seasons left of it. Here's The Bad Seed. 1956 Warner Brothers film. And then its ending changed, obviously, at the end, the child lives. In the end of the play, the original play, the child died. The mother died and the child survived. But obviously, the Hays Code would not have allowed this back in '56, so the ending got changed so that the girl died and the mother survived. One thing you couldn't do in the 50s was to cross the Hays Code with an ending like that of having the girl stay alive and the mother die. Alright, I'm going a bit off track. Let me get back on it. Here's the 30th anniversary special edition of Blazing Saddles. Supposedly one of those films that you can't meet today because it has the N-word in it. And another sort of vulgarities tested. About? But yet, when people make that claim, they don't really properly understand. Usually don't properly understand the context of what goes into a Mel Brooks film. There's a great video on that. On what people don't really understand. On the thing that most people tend to miss. Tend to not properly acknowledge about Mel Brooks when they claim that he can't make any of his movies today. I'll link you to that if you want me to. Another Mel Brooks film, this time I think it was one of his last movies. Or at least its most recent. It's Dracula Dead and Loving It, which he co-stars with Leslie Nielsen. This is one of those Castle Rock movies that went to Warner Brothers. It was originally released by Columbia Pictures. Alright, this is in, here's a 2005 National Geographic DVD that was distributed by Warner home video. Warner had a distribution deal with the National Geographic Society at one time, and this was one of the titles that was released under it. It's The New World Nightmare in Jamestown. That's the end of the National Geographic Channel. This is from 2005. Here's the desk. And it has a little booklet there. Experience the world with National Geographic DVD. And the chapter stops are right there. Here's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This was released on VHS and DVD on November 8th, 2005. But the DVD one was the one that actually got the advertising. The VHS did not. Because obviously it was such a late period for VHS. And by this point I had different stock numbers for the VHS and the DVD. DVD I have is of the full screen version. Personally, I'm a bit more of a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory sort of person. Got a guy that favors the 1971 version. But I haven't seen this one. But I haven't seen the 2005 one. Maybe it could be interesting. I think it could be interesting. I don't know. It could be interesting to look at again. Has a nice series of extras there. And I remember them very well. And this other tape here is actually a Canadian copy, or at least a copy that was pressed in Canada, and yep, made in Canada stamp on the back. Let's see if we can get a good shot of it. We can. There's a piece of the reel there. Of course, the very last film that Warner released on VHS was Must Love Dogs, which I don't have on any format. And the print date on here, you may not be able to see that, is April 28th, 2006. And by this point, Warner was only doing previews on the DVD counterpart of their movies. They didn't do them for VHS. And as far as this tape is concerned, it uses the American Master. It's apparently given up doing their own separate Canadian masters for their tapes by about this point. Now, before we head into my post VHS Warner titles, I thought I'd show you some of the VHS tapes that I have from Warner that don't have their original cases. First is the Powerpuff Girls Dream Scheme, which was printed on November 9th, 2000. Second one is Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July. This was a 1979 holiday special that was a crossover between Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Frosty the Snowman, and had some guest appearances with the likes of Ethel Merman, Brad Buns, and a bunch of other people, And the print date on that one is August 25th, 1997. So it was printed in August. Here's a Flintstones TV movie from 1992. This one is called I Yabba Dabba Doo, and the print date on there is March 7th, 1998. Here's Scooby-Doo Meets Batman, printed on July 31st, 2002, and featuring all the appearances Batman made in the Scooby-Doo franchise. Here's a direct-to-video Scooby-Doo movie, Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders, which was printed on August 12th, 2000. This has a couple of Burger King Kids Club commercials at the beginning. Another Powerpuff Girls tape, Monkey See, Doggy Do, which was printed on April 25th, 2000. And the final one, the Powerpuff Girls in Birthday Bash, with the print date of October 9th, 2000. Here's a 1940 MGM film on Warner, on VA, that Warner released on DVD, Boomtown. Was Clark Gable, Spencer Tracy, Claudette Colbert, and Hedy Lamarr as Hollywood Hobbies, short, and an MGM cartoon called Home on the Range. There's the disc. Here's the widescreen edition of V for Vendetta. This came out August 1st, 2006. This is from the creators of the Matrix trilogy, the Wachowski sisters again. Probably their last film before they became trans women. Or one of their last. There's the disc itself. Warner used the same discs for their American and Canadian copies. This happens to be the Canadian copy, because the Canadian home video rating stamped on the back, in English and French. And the description in English and French too, and the title in English and French, and this thing in English and French, and this thing in English and French, and the quote in English and French. You get the point. Here's the original Sparkle, From Downtown to Uptown, 1976 film, fictionalized, fictional story about a group, the rise and fame of a group identical to the Supremes. This is a 2007 DVD, I think. Is it? Let's look at the back. Yep, 2007. Now here's Who's That Girl with Madonna and Griffin Dunn. This is from 2006. I have Shiloh and Shiloh Season. This is a double feature disc, and it's double-sided. I use this one pretty well. They're pretty scratched out right now. Sorry about that. Back in. Now here's the 2007 DVD of the special edition of Gremlins. We're packaging it to 2002 DVD, so I don't need to go over it again. Let's turn it around. What case is this? Now here's Looker with Albert Finney and James Coburn. This is a Light Company film from released to Warner Brothers. It's the first widescreen video release, it says there. I kind of have mixed feeling. I'm kind of neutral to this film now. I initially had a pretty hard feeling toward this when I saw it, because I thought that the storyline had some pretty sexist framing. Well, sexist to the point where if it were made today, it would probably either be made by the Daily Wire or be hijacked by Neanderthals on Rotten Tomatoes as far as the user score to get an artificial high 90 score from the kind of Neanderthals who complain about Hollywood having gone woke. This is a 2007 DVD. Here's the disc. I'll have to rewatch it at some point to see if my feelings have improved or if to see how well it aged. To see if it aged better than the first time I saw it, or if it's a or if my original feelings were still correct. Here's a Tobe Hooper film from Steven Spielberg. This is Poltergeist. Here's my Steven Spielberg, that is. Horror classic. It's a Turner Home Entertainment. Originally released by MGM, of course. There's the disc. Legendary horror film from 1982. Next we have Tom Hanks in The Green Mile. Again. This is a 2007 DVD. And so where it had to be split in half for VHS. It's all on one disc. They got the whole movie on the one disc. Here's the Shawshank Redemption. Again, I have not seen this film, but I am told it is a great, great movie. And definitely would want to make a point of seeing it. So, I definitely want to make a point of seeing this one at some point in the future. There's the disc. I wonder if these are the original releases or if they were packaged. Here's the 30th anniversary deluxe edition of Beetlejuice. This was, I think, the second time it came out on DVD. The first was in 1997. Great Tim Burton film. 1988 film. This is a 2008 release. Oh, wait, I'm wrong. It says 20th Anniversary Deluxe Edition. Got a little confused there. Here's a Dirty Harry Deluxe Edition. This is the only film I have in the Dirty Harry collection. There's the disc. Yep, 2008. It's from. And here's Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Pee-wee Herman. From Tim Burton, and Pee-wee did 2 movies for different studios. This one for Warner Brothers, and he also did Big Top Pee-wee for Paramount. Around here, Warner started using a new numbering system, which they use today. And it has 10 digits, it's on the back cover only, and it doesn't appear on the spine. I have here the widescreen edition DVD of Get Smart. It was released November 4th, 2008. Bonus scenes deliver 62% more laughs, apparently. Here's the disc itself. It's got a digital code inside. And it has a little booklet here. Blu-ray. It's promoted in here. I'll open it up a little bit. The Blu-ray, I don't have a Blu-ray player yet. Warner Brothers was a backer of HD DVD, and that failed, and they went off to Blu-ray in early 2008. There's the back of that booklet. Here's the Wizard of Oz 70th Anniversary Edition, 2-disc Special Edition. Basically, it's a repackaging in a 2005 DVD. Here are your 2 discs. And this has an ad for the Water Archive Collection, which is a great series of titles that is still running today. Manufacturer on demand DVD-Rs. Titles that have not been released on DVD before, some that have. All titles I would have liked to have, but never did get to have. Here's a Never-Ending Story on DVD from 2009. The DVD is from. Comes in a widescreen and standard version. This was a repackaging of 2001 DVD, I think. Here's a repackaging of a 1997 DVD, and I would know because it runs from the original master. A Time to Kill. Sandra Bullock, Samuel L. Jackson, Matthew McConaughey, and Kevin Spacey. Based on a novel by John Grisham, of course. This is from 2009, the repackaging. This one has has an interesting quirk that only occurs on the very earliest Warner DVDs when they were of a movie that was longer than 2 hours. When they got to about the midway point of the film, they would stop the film there and they would have you flip the disc. And the discs had pretty underwhelming menus to boot when you went to access them. Okay, here's a 4-film favorites horror series with Wolfen, Body Snatchers, Coma, and Baboon. Some of these are repackagings of earlier DVDs. Some are not. Here are the 2 discs in here. Here's Gremlins 2, the new batch. Sequel to the original Gremlins, of course. 2010 DVD and a repackaging of a 2002 release. This is a very good sequel to the original Gremlins. Alright, here's one of the best film versions of a children's book I've ever seen. Probably the best I've seen. It's Where the Wild Things Are. There's one in All of Us. This is another Village Roadshow water film. And this DVD was released on March 2nd, 2010. There's the disc itself. Now here's a Spike Lee movie. Or joint, as he prefers to call his films. Malcolm X. This was released April 14th, 2010, I think. Yep. This one has an interesting version of the Warner logo at the beginning where it's further zoomed out. 1992 version with the Time Warner byline is. Time Warner Entertainment byline is zoomed out further so you can see more of the clouds in the background. Pretty interesting. Here's The Shining, the Stanley Kubrick collection release. Don't need to go over this one in much detail. Oh wait, I forgot. On this shelf I have the actual Big W release of The Shining now on one of the shelves with a print date of March 3rd, 1985. Classic adaptation of the Stephen King novel. There's a biopic called Gettysburg. Turner Pictures film. Also released in 2010 on DVD. This has a pretty... I think this is one of the only theatrical movies that Turner Pictures did. Most of them were made for television or were released through New Line or what was Castle Rock. There's a BBC DVD that was distributed by Warner, and so it's in this collection. Born to Royalty. I think it has a Warner Home Video logo at the beginning, if I'm not mistaken. This is a documentary, of course, on the royal family and the wedding of Princess William and Kate, which I actually watched on live television when I was 12 going on 13. You believe that? There's a 2011 40-Year of Everlasting Fun DVD of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Of course, it's a repackaging of the 2001 DVD. Here's the disc itself. Oh. Sorry about that. Here's Sophia Grace and Rosie's Royal Adventure. These is a direct-to-video spin-off of a couple of young British kids who were featured on the Ellen DeGeneres show, which has now ended. It having gone down in a a scandal over over Ellen DeGeneres' apparent poor sportsmanship when producing it. This has a nice pink label. A big fat activity booklet with Tea Time with Sophie, Grace, and Rosie. Tea tips. And there's Sophia and Grace and Rosie picture books. And this has a survey on there. And then that for Color Me Mine. Be yourself ceramic studio. Let's put all this back in here. Here's the disc again in case you missed it. And finally, Tom and Jerry, the Gene Deitch collection. Remastered theatrical shorts of Gene Deitch's era working on Tom and Jerry. There's the disc itself. Oh, right. In the shorts, they were the main characters. In the films, they weren't, unfortunately. The theatrical ones, anyway. As an introduction by the great Jerry back inside. And the foreword of Gene Deitch. In the last part, I'll delve into my non-US Warner releases.